Hello grade 10 learners. This time, ang pag-aaralan natin is finding the length of a chord. So, gagamit tayo ng formula depende kung ano ang given sa problem. Kung given ang radius and central angle, ang gagamitin nating formula to find the chord length is 2r sine c over 2. Kung given naman ang radius and the perpendicular distance of the chord to the center, ang gagamitin nating formula is 2 square root of r squared minus d squared. Let's have the following examples. In circle O, find the length of chord MN. Ito yung chord natin, itong red segment. It is the segment whose endpoints are 2 points on the circle. Now, sa illustration natin, given na ang radius, the length of the radius, which is 15 inches, at ang degree measure ng central angle subtended by this chord, and the measure is 100 degrees. So, ang gagamitin nating formula is yung unang formula natin. And that is 2r sine c over 2. So, saan nga ba nanggaling itong formula natin? So, let's take this figure, this example natin kanina, where this segment, itong segment na to, tsaka segment na to, are radii, or radius. Ito ay radius ng circle, at ito naman yung chord niya. And this is the central angle. Okay? Now, let us draw a perpendicular bisector. So, itong perpendicular bisector, perpendicular siya dito sa chord natin. And bisector, meaning it bisects the chord. So, itong side, itong part na to ng chord is equal dito. Okay? At the same time, na-bisect din itong perpendicular bisector, itong angle natin. So, kung itong angle natin is represented by C, so, etong part na to, itong angle na ito ay kalahati ng C. So, that is C over 2. Okay? Now, para makuha natin itong part ng chord na to, gagamit tayo ng trigonometric function. So, kung ito yung angle natin, C over 2, at kailangan natin itong opposite side, at given ang hypotenuse, which is the radius, so, ang gagamitin nating function is the sine. So, we have sine c over 2 is equal to opposite, itong chord length, itong kalahati ng chord length, over the hypotenuse, so over r. So, solving for the chord length, we have r times sine c over 2. And since ito ay equal dito, so, times 2 lang natin to get the total length of this chord. So, doon ang galing yung 2r sine c over 2. Now, going back to our example, so, plug in na natin yung values ng r at c doon sa ating formula. So, let us find the length of chord MN, and that is 2 times the radius, which is 15, times sine C is the measure of the central angle over 2. So, 100 degrees over 2. So, we have MN is equal to 2 times 15 is 30. Then, we have sine 50. Yung 50, we have 100 over 2. Now, ang computed chord length natin ay 22.98 inches. Now, let us check using our calculator. So, simulan natin dito sa given natin. Ito yung nag-substitute tayo ng values. So, we have 2 times 15 times sine of 100 over 2. So, ang lumabas ay 22.98 inches. Huwag kakalimutan ang unit of measurement. In our example, inches ang ginamit natin. So, rounded off ang answer to 2 decimal places. Next example is find the length of the chord of a circle where the radius is 12 centimeters and whose perpendicular distance from the chord to the center is 8 centimeters. So, illustrate natin para mas ma-visualize ninyo. So, we have here the chord. Ito, represented by this red segment. And then, ang radius daw natin ay 12 centimeters. At ang distance ng chord from the center, the perpendicular distance of the chord from the center is 8 centimeters. Okay. This time, ang gagamitin nating formula is yung pangalawang formula to find the length of the chord. And that is 2 times square root of r squared minus d squared. Saan ang galing itong formula natin? So, kunin natin ang figure natin kanina. Itong perpendicular segment na to, it actually bisects the chord. Okay, nahati niya yung chord into 2 equal parts. Now, kapag nakuha natin itong length nito, so times 2 lang, kasi equal naman sila dito, makukuha na natin yung length ng chord, yung total length ng chord. Now, meron tayo na buong right triangle. So, in a right triangle, pwede tayong pwede natin i-apply ang concept ng Pythagorean theorem. So, since ito yung ating right angle, so this side or this hypotenuse is actually the radius of the circle. At etong side naman ito ng right triangle, let us represent it with D. Okay? Meaning the distance of the chord to the center. Okay? At ito naman yung let's represent it with C. Okay? So, alam naman natin na ang Pythagorean theorem is states that the square of the hypotenuse, so in this case R, is equal to the sum of the squares of the two sides. So, ang side natin na una ay D. At ang side natin na pangalawa is itong C. So, we have C squared. Pero, ang hinahanap natin ay itong C. Okay? So, i-transpose natin to solve for C. We have C squared is equal to R squared minus D squared. And to solve for C, so we get the square root of both sides. Kaya, nagkaroon tayo ng square root of R squared minus D squared. Ito yan. Okay. That is for this part only. Pero since ang hinahanap natin ay yung chord length, since ito ay equal to dito, so times 2 lang tayo. Kaya nagkaroon tayo dito ng 2 times the square root of R squared minus D squared. Now, going back to our example, so plug in natin yung values ng R at ng D. R is the radius, and D is, ito yung perpendicular distance of the chord to the center. So, we have 2 times the square root of, ang radius natin ay 12 centimeters, so 12 squared, minus the distance, ito ay 8, so 8 squared. So, we have 2 times 12 squared is 144, minus 8 squared is 64. So, 144 minus 64, and that is 80. So, we have 2 times 80. So, the length of the chord is 17.89 centimeters. Now, we check natin using our calculator. So, we have 2 times square root of 12 squared minus 8 squared. And the answer is 17.89 centimeters, rounded off to 2 decimal places. Happy learning!